Hoard of the Dragon Queen adventure, and we're starting at Chapter 3, interjecting from a previous campaign, just trying to get started around level 3, just to see how things go. We got some new players, and so we just barely got their feet wet in both roleplay as well as combat. So now we're going to pick it up in the Dragon Hatchery, trying to find the dragon eggs. Let's see how well they do.
Sound resumed. Microphone activated.
Alright, so we had just left off our last session. We were kind of ambushed from out behind some columns and around a corner as we just entered the cave by some very fanatical cultists known as the Dragon Claws.
Too bad for them.
Did not work out in their favor. They were not expecting... They were expecting their surprise to be a little more of a surprise, for starters, and not to just get slaughtered immediately. That was probably not in the plan. So, given the exact end of that, I'd kind of taken us... I'd cleared initiative here, but just we're going to set almost the second after the final blow was given to the last Dragon Claw. Just as that happens, everyone roll a perception check. Try to get a little general idea. We kind of rushed into this part of the cave to finish them off real quick. Let's see what we, how we perceive.
I perceive that I am in reality. That's about as far as my gaze traveled.
Woo! Your vision is obscured by this giant rock that you're staring at in front of you.
I like this boulder. That is a nice boulder.
You were hiding behind it, cowering, because you just jumped out and done your thing and jumped back, and you heard and just mauling happening, and so you're just kind of, you're still kind of new to the adventure thing, and that sound a little gruesome, little wary for your actual, first time out. That maybe that's not so, it didn't sound so appealing. Kind of maybe a little cowering against the boulder.
I'll learn how to roar like that. I'm super good with voices.
On the front lines, the monk and the druid have pretty good perception of the cave around them. They see some natural-looking stairs that kind of curl down to the east. You can just barely see the stairs, and then a bit below you can kind of see a little bit of the tops of a lot of different funguses off to the east. You can just see some of them are tall as small shrubs, as tall as dwarves or halflings. These giant mushrooms, but you can just see the top of them from your vantage point up here on this particular plateau.
Can I see enough to know anything about those mushrooms?
Go ahead and roll a nature check. Yeah, you could see just enough, especially having to do the size, you could get at least a little insight as to that. Most of these large mushrooms of this type are usually all farmed in a way, so to supplement food. There are other types of mushrooms that are done for different things, but if they're just natural mushrooms, typically if they're this big, they're specifically for foodstuffs.
I'm a bear right now, and I can't tell anybody else that.
Yes.
Roar, roar, roar. Roar, 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 roar.
But yeah, that's essentially what you know is typically mushrooms that big are for food. And just as everyone's kind of looking and, the bear's sniffing and kind of looking off to the east just a little bit, Fane catches a glimmer right around the corner to the south. The faint steps of someone retreating into a little inlet in the rock that is almost impossible to see from this angle.
We're on Raiders camp map, right?
Dragon Hatchery.
I'll just share it there. She barely catches a glimpse of someone who was kind of tucked back, hidden against the rock, take off westward, passing behind the rock out of everyone's vision. And she's the only one that sees that.
I'm gonna step off the cultist I was currently squishing and kind of sit down and then lick the cuts I got in the last fight.
I'm still admiring the crap out of this boulder.
Never expected to find such a boulder in an adventurous place such as this. You thought it would be all crude and horrible, but here is this piece of majesty before you. A majesty of nature, artistic in its own right.
The earth is pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna walk over here. I assume it's like an edge of a cliff.
Maybe.
And so as you look over, you see essentially two distinctive paths coming off the bottom of the stairs. One that winds almost due north and then around the north edge of the wall, and then another that goes south along the south edge of the wall.
Can I see further than this? With my Uber.
Oh yeah, you've got the Uber dark vision sight, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
And so what you see, what it's kind of wrapping around. There is some very large fungus that are taller than you are.
Hey, I'm a pretty tall 3'2".
Tall fungus. Ew.
I'm pretty tall amongst halflings.
So I kind of
Oh,
drew
fungus.
this rough shape where it seems like the majority of the clusters of these mushrooms are. There's a handful of them that are really big up here at the front. And they kind of progressively get smaller, but very drastically so at first. So there's these four really big mushrooms at the front, and then behind them are some really short ones, only about a foot tall. And then after that, they just kind of get smaller and smaller as they move to the back to look more like regular forest mushrooms as they go towards the back.
Okay, mushrooms.
Yep, mushrooms.
I forgot to start our ambience.
Yeah.
Well, my ears were still ringing from the roaring, so now I can hear stuff.
Did anybody loot the corpses, or can I do that?
You can.
Sure.
You can go investigate them.
Okay.
You would roll an investigation roll.
Nice. Hey, Fane, do you want to trade dice?
No, I'm good, thanks.
That's the one murdering things.
So there were 3 dragon claws that were slain. As you kind of go from each one to the next, you see that they are in very plain robes, and they have a weird mask that they wear across their face that you suppose is supposed to mimic something about a dragon, but it really just tends to have more just being a gray mask that has spikes coming out across the top. Perhaps supposed to emulate spines or horns or something. It's hard to tell, but there's like 5 or 6 of them across the top. And they have, so each of them have one of those in their gray robes, and they have their scimitar. 2 of them that you go to have nothing else. They have undergarments, their robes, mask, scimitar, literally nothing else. But the third one, as you dig around, you find that it has in an interior pocket a small pouch. In that pouch has 10 gold pieces that you can add to your treasure.
Awesome.
I'm gonna go stealth and look around this corner.
Alright, with your back kind of up against the edge of the rock wall behind you, you kind of slink your way over toward. Now that you're closer into this area, you can kind of see that little inlet that is otherwise kind of hidden from other angles of the cavern itself. And you see a thin rock, a thin path in the rock. It kind of goes and curves and splits just outside of eyeshot. Or just at the edge of your eyeshot, rather.
Okay. I'm gonna go back and relay the small path quietly to my peoples.
Yeah, I'm the only one with a torch on, right?
That's why I'm sticking close to you.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously? You're all crazy. Making the stealthy bounty hunter dude carry the damn torch.
Bear can't hold a torch.
You have teeth?
So as Warren walks up, kind of you see the illumination bouncing off the walls with the shadows, little bits of laurel and just the cave in general projecting further down the actual path itself. Roll perception check.
looks like a very skinny path. Can I even fit down there?
You see the shadows moving down through the path, but you don't see or hear anything coming from that direction. You would feel like you would be very claustrophobic. You could squeeze into the path itself, but your movement would be very restricted. You'd find it difficult to perform actions inside of a path squeezed so tight. As you barely round the corner, you can see very soft illumination, not coming from Morn's torch itself, but coming from something that looks like it opens up to the south of you. Seems as though just a little bit further things open up, and then off to the west side of that particular opening there's some kind of soft light. As Morn inches forward, the glow from the torch begins to radiate outward, starts to fill the beginning of the room there, and as you do, you hear, "They're here!" Roll initiative.
Are you looking for
20, 22, 21, 2.
They use up all the dice karma. Yeah, at least you didn't have a critical fail.
Alright. I'm gonna go through at least one round, and then we'll see how Karth enters into that after that. Vane very loudly was the yell that came out the tunnel. Everyone heard that. So you hear, "They're here," and then your senses kind of go into a heightened state. How do you react?
I pulled out my rapier ready to fight off whoever's there.
Okay. You gonna try to squeeze around your teammates and move forward, or?
Nah, they can be in front of me.
Okay. Would you like to just hold your turn, hold your action until
Yeah,
later?
I don't know which button. Is it the sword at the top?
I'm sorry.
To
What?
open the combat tracker?
Is that what I need to open?
Yeah. Yep. That'll show you the whose turn it is and things. Okay, go ahead and apply that.
Alright, am I aware of the shouting that they're here and stuff?
Oh yeah, everyone became instantly aware because they were it was very loudly shouted.
Alright, in that case... I'm going to cast one of my warlock spells. Armor of Agathis.
Okay. Does that increase your temporary hit point pool, or does that?
I don't know how temporary hit points work when they're from different sources.
Because it did not appear like it treated that like it was a stackable thing. Mechanically speaking, like from the actual game side.
Yeah, I'll look it up in the meantime, but
Okay.
not too much of an issue right now.
All right.
Alright, I'll move over here. Dart back over there.
So right as you hear the incantation from behind you, Laurel, just stepping out around the corner, out of the shadows, you see one of these cultists robed with a scimitar in hand. Not one of the same kind of robes, or doesn't have the mask from the kind of cultist that you had just fought a moment ago. Much darker robes, and instead of that dull gray, more of a blue, and definitely no mask. And you can see it kind of comes out of the shadows and just kind of looking down the hallway to kind of see what's coming, or what it was that the other guy shouted about. And you can see his eyes get really big. You see it kind of pointing off in this, his arms kind of shaking. Hold him off. Get to the lady. Protect the lady. Is going to push his way forward, charging at you and swinging wildly with its scimitar. And it's going to be that kind of night, folks.
Oh, good.
Had a blast playing with you guys. It's fun.
At least it was only 7. At least it was only 7 damage on a crit roll. That's nice.
Just to your west, off the other fork, you see another guy coming in. This guy seems to be clad in much heavier armor. Some kind of chainmail, wielding a shield, holding a little short spear. Going to try to harry you with his ally. Squeeze in next to the cultist.
Before, does Laurel have heavy armor mastery? Did you take that?
Nope.
Okay, just make sure you didn't forget.
Yeah, he's gonna kind of squeeze in. into this kind of tight hallway, and it's going to be difficult for him to maneuver around. He's going to kind of try to hunker down a little behind his shield and just barely over the top try to poke at you. Doing so in this kind of maneuver gives him disadvantage on his attack, being so confined in this hallway. And it is the bear's turn.
Okay, I'm gonna... drop my wild shape.
Okay, let's figure out how we're going to handle that. Let's see, what is your current initiative? Number 19? Okay.
Oh, that's weird. I rolled 21 for initiative.
You did? You did.
Oh, because I rolled it from Rowan's sheet.
Oh, you didn't have to manually put it in. Okay, well, technically you would have got to go before those cultists, but that's fine. We'll just plug you in right here. When we remove this, I'll plug you in at the right spot on the next one. So 21.
Okay.
Alright, so can you delete your own token from there? And just to make it easier, I want to make sure to drag it from the combat tracker. You'll actually delete your token
Yep.
one more time. Yeah, I found that if I drag it from the combat tracker, everyone can use the targeting correctly that way.
Oh, okay.
Targeting, and also I can then drag attacks onto your icons where I couldn't before, because dragging it from the combat tracker is what links it, which is pretty cool. Alright, there we go. Okay. So you can just kind of cancel that at, does it say it takes an action to cancel that? Not actually bonus action.
It's a bonus action to use wild shape. Says you can revert to normal form earlier by using a bonus action. Could I choose to use my regular action for it?
Yeah. Were you going to use your bonus action for something particular? Because you can
Yeah.
because you can use your action as your to do a bonus action also.
Okay. Yeah, because both the things I want to do are bonus actions.
Okay, yeah, it could work out. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I drop my wild shape, and then I'm gonna cast Healing Word at 2nd level on Laurel.
Okay.
So by casting it at a higher level, healing increases by 1d4 for every slot level above first.
Right, right.
Only thing is, I'm not really sure how to do that. I guess I can just alter the spell.
Yeah. I don't know if it'd be best to make
I'll
a
hover up.
replica or.
You just create another action that is a level 2 spell.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It might be just easiest to create a level 2 version. that's separate. Alright, we'll go ahead and figure out the mechanics of that, and in the meantime I'll go ahead and move some of these through some of these turns. It'll be Morn's turn.
Oh,
Coming up after that.
getting our thermopylae on, folks. It's awesome.
Well, Warren's gonna take and set the torch down right here so it stays lit. And
Yeah, you can just drop the
try to go
torch.
stealth.
Okay, I think that worked.
All right. Well, I'm trying to go stealthy, and I'm just gonna come back here and hide around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a rather humorous thing that you did, because you just dropped this torch, bam, just dropped it like you're dropping the mic, right? And it just lands on the ground right in front of you. It is brightly lighting you up like you're in front, like at a photo shoot, and you're like, huh, and then like you kind of go back against the wall like you're trying to hide yourself, and it's just literally blaringly focus beam spotlight directly onto you. This torchlight here, and you're like, I'm hidden! As you kind of then scurry along the edge of the wall. You're not hidden.
And then as I move, I draw my other sword, and now I'm just gonna hang out, waiting. Cause there's someone in my way. Oh yeah. I'll tell Laurel to move out of the damn way.
And it's Laurel's turn. Actually managed to get yourself in a pretty small, pretty strong vantage point, being that you're at exactly your width, and you've got, your shield, and you're here facing them, and they're all squeezing in, trying to jam in like a bunch of crazy people, into like someone yelled fire in a crowded room. Here they're all cramming into each other, kind of almost bouncing off each other, actually weakening their position to a degree. Black Friday sale. Yes. Yes, exactly.
Laurel's going to disengage.
Okay. Okay, before you end your turn, before you actually end your turn, Karth, if you want to go ahead and roll initiative, you've heard and you've seen them all take off running. There's a faint glow directly in front of you from a small fire that they have in the corner of the northwest there. So you can kind of got vision across the room, and you saw the cultists and guards that were on the east side of the room kind of funnel into another little tunnel that kind of goes off to the east. Several of these cultists, and then one dude wearing a shield. You got a couple of these big guards in front of you, with another one of those cultists that's looking towards the cavern. The guards are focused, looking at you. And when it comes, now that you're in the initiative order on the next turn around, you've heard that they're attacked. You've heard the kind of scuffle going on. You are bound and gagged, laying on, but with your back against the wall, in this kind of corner of this room. So you'll be, when it's your turn, you'll be able to choose to act in whatever way you wish. Okay, now that he's done, we can flip it back to the top.
Can I use my short bow?
Sure can. You would take, it would take your movement to be able to, put away your current. You could drop your current weapon and then use your movement to pull the bow out, but you would just drop your current weapon on the ground, and then that would leave your action open to be used for your actual action. Or it would actually take, if you want to actually sheath your weapons that you're currently wielding, that will take your action to do so, or your movement, and then the other one would have to be used in order to draw out the other weapon. But just dropping something doesn't take any actions. Only if you want to stow them would it take some kind of action to do.
Some feats get rid of that too.
Alright, so I'll drop it and pick out my short bow, which will take my move.
Okay, yeah.
And then with my action, use the short bow to aim it towards the tunnel.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Which one are you firing at? Just trying to fire into the congestion that is there, and
Yeah. Because there's not really a light that direction anymore, right?
Morn actually dropped the torch. Right there. So there is pretty much the guard and the first two cultists on the left and the one on the right are visible, although the two back cultists have cover as they're hidden mostly by the rock wall.
Alright, well I guess the G or C, it's right there at the front. Whichever one is closer to me.
They're about the same distance. G has the guard has the heavy armor and shield, and the cultist just has the robes and the scimitar.
Alright, well I'll hit the G.
Okay. Roll your take your attack, and you can either put that on. That is guard number 1, so you can either find him in the combat tracker itself. Make all of these visible. Hold up. That's not true. Alright, so you kind of as Morn and Laurel have kind of ducked out, you're scrambling through, you grab a short bow and you fire it, and it just bounces off the wall next to the guard, and then ricochets off of the wall behind him, landing on the ground somewhere in that western tunnel. Did not strike true to any actual target, though.
Alright, and then I can use my bonus action to dash.
That's
away.
correct. Mm-hmm. Alright, it is Rowan's turn.
Sorry to do this again, but I'm gonna I'm gonna use my bonus action to wild shape into a direwolf.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. No, it's totally fine to use a high... Technically, an action can be used as anything, right? So you can use your action to actually cast the
Well,
spell.
my action was my healing spell. As a druid of the moon, my wild shape is a bonus action.
Right, yeah, and that's totally fine. Oh, yeah, and then we get a swap. Oh, I see, that's what you meant. I thought you were talking about
Yes.
worrying about using the 2 bonus actions or whatever. That you actually use Cure Wounds instead of Holy Word? Okay. But we gotta do the swap, that's what you're sorry about. Okay.
Yeah. This might be a pain in the ass.
No, it's not that big a deal. That'll be your second use for the day, or to your
Yep.
rest, so. Alright, bone. Okay, so we're doing the direwolf.
Alright, I'm going to go a hex on the cultist. Can I see that cultist?
Whoa!
Ah!
Oh, that's a big wolf. Also I'm hostile, apparently.
Yeah, I gotta fix that.
Down doggy.
Friendly doggy.
Oh, Laurel didn't die to the enemies. He got crushed against the wall.
Oh yeah, they are large.
Oh, I thought I would have more room than that. In that case, I would step back a little.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
Oh, the old backflip and change. That's a good move.
Yeah,
Alright.
that works out okay.
Alright,
He
Dread,
thought
from my
it was a
current
regular
position,
wolf.
what's my visibility on first G and C?
A ranged attack would have half cover against C, but G is straight away, not blocked, not obscured.
Alright, let's go with G then. I'm gonna cast Hex on him.
Okay. I think I got you back at 21. Yeah, there you are. You're in the right spot.
Okay, so that's a bonus action cast, and now I'm going to attack.
Okay, so does that actually work automatically? Like on their turn, they take 1d.
1d6 from the caster. I think that's what that little C thing is for.
We'll see what happens when it gets to the turn. If it works, that'd be pretty sweet.
It's not. Yeah, it's not on their turn. It's whenever I hit them.
Oh, whenever you hit them. Oh, I
Yeah.
see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, that actually makes sense. That's right. You were.
Patoo! Okay.
So just for my clarification, that 1d6 necrotic damage is if they were hit.
If they're hit by me,
You know, like if you hit them.
they take an extra 1d6.
Oh, okay. But that's when you hit them, right?
Yeah, but only when I hit them.
Okay, I got you.
Because if you hit them, it doesn't matter. But
But let's
if
say
I
if
hit
you
them-
had hit them, like if you had hit. Okay, just making sure.
Because if you hit them, like, you're not me. But if you were not me, then
Then. Huh?
then you get the 1d6.
Yeah. I was just making sure I would understood stuff if something had happened
Yeah.
with your attack.
Yeah.
So, the cultist is going to kind of shove the guard out of the way a little bit so that it can kind of squeeze by. And with its scimitar raised overhead, for the Dragon Queen! As it takes off running to the middle, at the middle of the hallway directly in front. It's going to again try to take a swipe at Laurel. Just barely scraping the edge of the shield, manages to get it up and deflect it enough so that it doesn't actually even cut into the shield, and then ricochets off the side of the wall next to you, and then it just kind of sits there kind of reeling, kind of slightly off balance. The guard just kind of got pushed out of the way. You imbeciles! They're much better at this in this close quarter. Well, you should stand behind me and try to get over the top with some kind of anything. Pick up a rock, throw it at them. I don't care. He's going to kind of try to position himself in. And you can see him kind of trying to go one way or the other, trying to squeeze around. And he just, with Laurel in the position and the direwolf on the other side, he just can't actually make it around. And he knows that he can't actually stay squeezed in next to him. So he's just going to have to decide to stay behind.
Son, you're going to be made an example of.
Cultist 10 is going to take Guardman's advice, and he's going to actually kind of go down on all fours and start, looking for a rock to pick up. Although in this particular area, the stone is rather smoothed over. It doesn't look like there's anything of much substance there. And you can see him bend over and he picks up this little bitty like pebble, and just and throws it over around the guard, and you can just see the little bitty pebble clink, clink, clink in between the dire wolf and Laurel. Just kind of share this look of, really?
That just happened.
Huh, his pebble went further than my crossbow.
Just barely. Guardsman 4 is just going to kind of look back down the hallway, see the congestion, and then keep his eyes focused on his charge in front of him. And Cultist 1 is going to kind of charge into the bumbling Cultist 10, and just kind of looking like they're like pushing their way, trying to get out where they can be useful. You can tell that these are not trained troops. The guardsmen with their heavy armor seem like they've at least undergone minor training. These cultists are just fanatical crazies, for lack of a better term. It's Morn's turn.
Yeah.
Alright, you're going to be squeezing in between two people there.
Nope. Technically, we're not sharing any space. Me and the direwolf.
That's true.
I am just outside of her range. Its range.
No, you're still squeezing in between two people. I mean, there's no without. You're still restricted by squeezing into that space. By trying to do so. You only have it's only 2.5 feet wide. Essentially, is the space between there, which is almost just wide enough to kind of walk into the doorway, like if it was a doorway with your shoulders with the shoulders against the actual door frames.
Hoard can't do anything. Everyone's in his damn way. Gonna sit here and watch.
You could still get in there. You'd just be squeezing, and you'd have disadvantage on your attack.
In defense.
Yeah.
Hoard's not stupid.
You could still move out after.
Nope, because I'd have to disengage or I'd give them an attack of opportunity.
Let's see, Guardsman 3 is going to kind of come up, and he's going to grab the collar of Guardsman 1, of Cultist 1, and he's just going to kind of pull him back. Out of the way, you idiot. As it gives a little bit of space between him and the cultist in front of him.
I really wish I had a fire breath right now.
It is Karth's turn.
I'd like to look around.
You technically have vision across the entire span of the room here. You on the actual map itself. You can see that this was like a little makeshift barracks. On the east edge of the wall, there is small weapon racks that are mostly empty at the moment. And otherwise, there is a small very small fire that's illuminating this part of the room, putting off a little bit of smoke.
I'm chasing my tail.
Is this entire room here, or at least this corner where I am, is this lit by just that fire?
Just that fire, and then whatever little bit of illuminations coming out of the tunnel from the torch laying on the ground there.
Now my bear with me, prestidigitation. Oh, okay.
Yeah, prestidigitation.
Yeah, that thing. Can I cast that while being bound still?
I think it
Verbal
has,
and somatic.
Yeah, I think
There's somatic.
Yeah, I think it has both components required. You
Correct.
could try to.
Oh, I see that. Okay.
You could test your bonds, so to speak, to see if you could try to break them as well. And you could take an action to try to do that. I'll let it be known that they didn't actually remove any of your gear or anything. Like, you're still completely, like, they've got your weapons are on you, everything. They just expect, since they're watching you and you're bound, that is good enough. So your pack, you've got a knife in it, or any of those things, they're still on your person. You're just bound to your arms behind your back and gagged. Currently sitting down back up against the wall.
Now, as long as I have my sorcery points, the subtle spell, I can use it next round as well, right?
Yes, yep. As long as you have sorcery points, there's nothing preventing you from using them at any time that you cast a spell.
And the 2 guards are still pretty intent on me.
Yes, the cultists, not so much. The guards told the cultists to stay, but the cultist is looking down the actual hallway. The 2 guards focused on you.
Okay, you have to let me know what I got to roll for this, but I would like to do a subtle spell, and then my prestidigitation to put out that fire.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't have to roll anything. That is, I'm pretty sure that you can start or stop a small fire with that as just a byproduct. Light or snuff out a candle, torch, or small campfire. Yep, it just happens.
So is this whole room dark now?
With only... Do we still have the circle? Bob, can you put up a pointer for the 20-foot radius for the torch? Yeah, so everything up to there is still well illuminated. Outside of that, especially on this side of the room, anything above that line, or to the left of that line, however you want to think about it, is total darkness. Alright, you can get rid of the pointer now. I'm going to do a little... Anything up into the cultist is bright light. Anything, there's a shadowy illumination in between those 2 lines, and everything on the far right is darkness. On the far left is total darkness.
I think I'm just going to make that my move. I'm not sure if I have another move, but make that my move for the round and see what the guards do.
Okay, so that would take your action to do that spell. You would still have a movement or a bonus action. Although with the bonus action, I don't know what you could do much other than
I would
have to use some kind of spell or something.
I would just like to see how I would like to test my the rope and see if I can work my hands free at all.
Okay, yeah. So you kind of pull through. So as you get your arms behind your back, you're kind of wiggling them around using your movement to try to move your shoulders where since they can't see you right now. Try to get a lot of movement going on and test the bonds. They do appear like you could. You probably can't just break the bonds. I mean, you're not going to Hulk out of these things, but with enough wiggling or with some implement or leverage or something, you could definitely get your way out of them.
So yeah, I'd like to attempt that.
Alright, let's see. Just roll a general dexterity check for your movement. Let's see how that turns out. And you could do that. You wiggle around, and they're still tight. It's still tightly bonded, but you feel like you can maneuver, and with either enough attempts or enough if you actually get the right kind of luck here, you could make your way out of it. But right now, you're still tightly bound.
Okay. Oh, I'd also would like to say.
Well said.
Duly noted.
Duly noted.
I'm gonna write that in my journal.
Do I need to do anything to end my round? Or,
Yeah, so like on the actual combat tracker itself, at the bottom left, there is a like a little dragon head with an arrow down. Yeah, and then it'll move on to the next turn. So at the extinguishment of the light, the cultist is like, what? Take off running over here back to the light. And just kind of, you can see him kind of shifting his head left and right, you know, trying to figure out what the heck happened. And I see him, now that he's kind of got some light around him, you can see some of that erratic behavior subside a little bit as he's looking off to the west where that campfire should have been. It is Laurel's turn.
I have a couple questions about shove. I know I can shove prone and shove back or away.
Mm-hmm.
What does that entail if I shove it away, but he can't really go back because there's a dude behind him?
It could, well, that kind of depends a little bit on some dice rolls, but there's a couple of possibilities. If you shove them into someone else, they could take some bludgeoning damage, like if falling 10 feet, they could trip over each other and both be knocked prone, or one or the other, or they could or depending on the, how the rolls go, that person could be, you could shove them back, and that person could just be like, no, and then they don't go anywhere. I mean, that is also entirely possible.
We'll shove away then, instead of prone.
Okay. Are you doing this as part? Did you take the shield defender, or what was it?
Yeah, it's a shield master feat. So if I attack on my turn, I can use a bonus action to shove a creature.
Okay. Yep.
Within 5 feet of me. So I don't know as far as what kind of checks. I guess I make a roll strength, maybe?
Yeah, so to shove a creature, so you'll have to do the attack first. Oh, wait, you did. Sorry. I'm not paying attention. Then after the attack, you can do your athletics versus their either athletics or acrobatics, I think. Let me double check.
So I don't have to roll my athletics on them, I just roll straight athletics.
Yeah, it's like a contested thing.
Okay.
Yep. So contested. I'm just double checking before just make sure. This is cultists.
6.
After taking a slash across him with your long sword, you just kind of take your shield and just with your shoulder and just shove into him and knocking him backwards. Knocking him directly. Okay, are you gonna actually do it from this angle? Let's see, how's that gonna? You're actually gonna move up and do it? Okay, that's what I was going for. Yeah, so that he kind of goes straight back.
Yep.
Alright, let's see how this interaction happens here. Have them roll acrobatics. Let's see. Alright, so guard 1, essentially, who's got his shield out in front of him, as you're basically playing ping pong here at the moment. You've used your shoulder and your shield to brunt force knock this cultist back into the guard, who is sitting readied, just barely missing, impaling the cultist on the spear. The guardsman manages to kind of put his force down and block it with the shield. As a part of doing so, cultist is going to be kind of bludgeoned from the back by the shield, who then falls unconscious.
I was about to ask if Laurel got in that attack of opportunity on the guy too after he shoved him.
Oh yeah, that's also possible. Yeah, I actually forgot about that. As he actually does move away, since he wins the contest, you technically could get an attack of opportunity.
But his buddy knocked him out, so. Yeah.
But yeah, so basically you shove him backwards. The other dude catches his head with the shield and pushes him forward. The guardsman doesn't appear to be affected, but the cultist falls on the ground unconscious.
Alright, so I can... How does it work for the ranged weapon? How can I shoot over my teammates?
Sure can. Yep.
Would I be able to shoot from here?
Yep.
Okay, so I move, and then I'm going to use my crossbow, and I... So I roll my short bow again.
Okay, so so at this particular angle, he is hidden a little bit behind the. Going at the guardsman.
No, the cultist, the one in front.
Yeah, he got knocked.
He's unconscious.
Yeah, he got knocked down. Technically, is just a pile on the ground at the moment, and so the guy up front is actually the guardsman that you can see. That's actually a threat. You can still do this, but you would need to come probably down another 5 feet into that 1 square below you, and then you wouldn't be obstructed.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you could do that. So you could. So now here's the real question for your tactics. You can try to hide yourself before popping out around the direwolf and being hidden to try to fire, or you could fire and then move and then try to hide after, or you could do any of those kinds of things as well, for as far as your bonus action is concerned.
Okay.
So, well, I guess the real question is were you going to try to hide before you kind of come down, or are you going to just come down and then do your action and then do your bonus action later?
And then I'm going to use my bonus action after.
Okay. Yeah, so when you just kind of move into the line of sight, now you can just roll your actual attack onto the guard.
That was your sword.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead and roll the short bow. The rolls aren't favoring you too well at the moment.
No, and then as my bonus action, can I give the help to Rowan? Or Morn, sorry. Morn, right here underneath me. For my Mastery of Tactics.
Right. Let's see. So you wait. I think that actually goes.
You have to
on.
designate a target.
Yeah, you designate the target, and so like the next is it just the next person? Actually, it might even be better than that.
She gets to pick a target to help against. So, who's
So I
she
can take
helping
guard
and who's she
one.
helping against. I believe is how that works.
So I can take guard 1 as we gain advantage against him now. So the next person that attacks him.
Okay, so yeah, you do aid an ally in attacking a creature. The target of the attack can be within range. To aid an ally in attacking a creature. Yeah, so you have to choose the target and the person you're helping. But yeah, that's how that works, and they would have an advantage on the next attack against that target, as long as they're within 30 feet of you, which is your special ability. Since normally you can only do that if you're next to somebody.
Right. So I'm gonna give that to Morn for
Oh.
guard 1.
Okay. So essentially, how would you? So what are you going to do in order to help him with that? Be either the distraction or from the character's perspective, anyway. How is Fane helping?
Well, I guess since I was so terrible at shooting him, I probably will make a lot of noise to draw his attention to me now that I'm further in the back.
Okay. Okay.
To make his gaze more towards the back of the cave instead of the front right there with those two guys.
Okay. Yep. Yep. So Morn, when you attack guard 1, you have advantage on that attack.
Woohoo!
All right. So is that the end of your turn? Good deal.
Okay, I can't really reach anybody to physically do anything, but I'm gonna look around the corner here and raise the hair on the back of my neck and pull my lips back in a big snarl and just like growl at them and try to scare them.
Ooh. Okay. Trying to do some kind of intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, intimidation's based off of charisma, which is kept by your Rowan's stats. So if you want to go ahead and roll an intimidation check.
Ah.
I'm going to give you advantage because you're a direwolf.
Oh, okay.
Let's do it one more time. You could see the steely gaze from the guard seems to be unwavered by your intimidation attempt. The cultist behind him visibly shaken. The guard,
Biddity wet myself.
the guard, not so much.
I like this battle music, by the way.
Yeah, I do like some 8-bit battle music here.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna actually step back a little bit too to give these guys more room to maneuver.
Okay.
Protector 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
because whoever
and-
goes behind us is gonna go, oh shit.
I can't advance my turn.
Oh,
The
wait,
little dragon on the corner.
No, I
Oh,
know
what?
how. It's just because I'm
Oh.
a direwolf, it won't let me.
Okay, yeah, that's something we can do. Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna try and pull the trigger, when I'm aimed at the dude this time.
So likewise, you might have like a -2 penalty for cover at your current angle. So you might want to. You'll have to
Okay.
either factor that in or consider a different angle.
How about from here?
That would work out fine. Mm-hmm. We're having that good.
That was nice of you. Okay, yep, that's basically all I can do right now.
Alright, guard 1's going to take another step forward. Try to attack the only person at reach. But we essentially have two people that are trying to be unstoppable forces behind their shields. That are just essentially making impenetrable walls here, immovable objects. As the guard, tries to jab out with his spear, Laurel easily knocks it away. Whoop.
Hey, Bob, I was curious. Your last attack, like if that would have hit, would that have got the?
Just trying to be sure. Just trying to be sure.
I'm trying to figure out how this works.
Karth, in the kind of in your vicinity, you just hear guard number 4 curse under his breath. What the hell? As he starts, you can hear him moving off to the north and west over towards the campfire, where the campfire was. You can hear him digging around in the dark in what, it sounds like a pack or something like that. It's Morn's turn.
One's just gonna stay ready and wait for Laurel to move out of the way so we can charge in.
Did you not pick up any kind of ranged weapons at all?
If I did, I'd be out already.
This turn, Guardsman 3 is going to grab this visibly frightened cultist and kind of grab him, grapple him, and drag him back into the cave, pushing him backwards behind him. Of course, you can hear that other guard that was left in charge of you kind of take a step closer, as you can hear him kind of stomp around with his foot as he hits it up against your leg to try to make sure that you're still there. And he's gonna say, "Don't you be getting any ideas." cultist, the next cultist in line is going to kind of run up behind the guard, trying to prove his fanatical worth. And as he does, the guard's yelling at him, "You idiot! I'm trying to clear out a pathway. They have tactical advantage. Get back!" And pays him no heed. It's your turn, Karth.
I guess I make another go at trying to break that rope, trying to wiggle out of that rope.
All right, go ahead and try to go ahead and roll another dexterity check here. Well, you could really do either or, but you're you could do strength or dexterity. I mean, but it really feels like strength would be harder to do than wiggling your way out of it. Ooh, with that, you wiggle around, and you know your thumb hurts a little bit as you're pulling on it, but it starts to give your hand starts to slide a little bit. It hurts, and you're getting this, real bad kind of rope burn, but you kind of pull through the pain anyway, as your arm's free behind your back. I'll let that count as your move if you'd like to perform an action.
So I'm free at this point?
You're still gagged, but yeah, your arms are behind your back, but they are not yet, but they are no longer bound.
I'd like to ungag myself. Does that count as an extra move, or is that
because it's all tied up in that way, it's not like you can just reach up and pull it off. It'd probably be an action to do that.
Yeah, I suppose I should do that, but it's still dark, so just do that. But still stand there as if, I'm still bound and gagged.
Yeah, so it's still dark, and you reach up behind your head, and you can feel the knots, and you work on them for a little while, and you get the knots to undo, but you leave it kind of loose, even though the knots are undone, where you could just kind of shake your head and it fall off, but where it's still there, in case there was some dim light or something, you would fool somebody. Put your arms back behind your back, unbound, awaiting your opportune chance.
Yes, I would like to wait for that chance now and say again, mm-hmm.
Yeah, not moving. See, I'm doing what you say, guard, but muffled behind this gag. Just so happens that the guard speaks gagged, and the next cultist is going to kind of run up in his way. You just see the guard as this cultist runs by. They're all gung ho about it. You just the face palm from the other guard as he just kind of raises the shield up over his face. Just a moment as he shakes his head. It's your turn.
Laurel's going to give one final kind of shrug off the guard. And he's going to disengage.
Okay.
Shove harder.
Okay.
Bonus action. I don't know if I get one of those or not.
Sure do. If you've got, you sure do. As long as you've actually got a bonus. If you have a bonus action to use, you can definitely use it.
When I cast Shield of Faith on Morn.
Okay.
Oh, I feel denser now.
Am I close enough to see what are these humans or what race they are?
Yes, they do seem to be human.
Do they speak differently than we do, like because they're from a different part of the world, or?
Slightly different inflections, but from what you've heard, it's definitely a very southern Sword Coast dialect, as though that they're from not far from this region. From those that you've heard speak, at least. All of them seem to have had this very distinct inflections that are unique to this part of the Sword Coast.
Okay, I want to hide behind the Darwin, so move and hide.
Okay, sure.
And so then I have. Do I have anything left after that?
You could still, so the hide, that's your bonus action, and you can still move up to a total of 6 squares. So you would move kind of 4 squares to get up into that position. You could move 2 more squares, and then you have your action. Or you could not have to move quite that far, honestly, to be obscured from their vision. If nothing else, just from the angle.
Right, that's fine. Well, for my action, can I use his voice and mimic his voice and tell the cultist to shove for the woman?
Ooh, okay. Let's see, your special trait lets you mimic.
Up to 30 seconds of a.
This could be really cool.
Up to 1 minute, allowing myself to pass myself as a native speaker of a particular land. So I would maybe just sound like one of them.
Yeah, you sound like someone from the region, although you're not actually like ventriloquism style replicating their actual voice so much as you're mimicking their form of speech. But yeah, sure, you could totally do that. Let's see, as a point of persuasion, go ahead and roll a. So you're using their speech patterns. Roll a persuasion roll. Okay. So for those that can still visibly see down the tunnel, you see the cultists just kind of looking around, trying to see who is giving the command. Knowing that it kind of came from out there, like almost visibly checking to see is all of them here, or they, was some people caught outside or something like that. The guard in front instinctively just takes a step forward. And you see him poke his head out, taking a step forward, and just kind of start looking around, trying to see where, like where that order came from. That kind of sounded like, and then just kind of look around, very dumbfounded looking.
Can I fit at all along that wall enough to get a shot at that guard?
Yeah, that would be some kind of squeeze. You could squeeze in there, but you would be just doing that. You would be actual squeezing, so you'd have disadvantage on your attack.
Okay, I'll do it anyway.
Mm-hmm. So as it kind of peeks its head out and starts looking around, this direwolf off to the side, like you just see it kind of wiggling up against the stone, trying to, make its way in next to Laurel's sword arm, trying to take a bite out of this guard.
Damn.
So it kind of looks, and it's looking around, you can see its neck's actually kind of stuck out a little since it's trying to peer and actually visibly look around. And just at the corner of its eye, it gets that perception of the direwolf coming in on it, and you can just see it just turn in this, in a very fast reaction-like manner. Just barely puts the shield up in front of the way, preventing the jaws from clenching on what had been its exposed open neck from where it had been kind of looking around. With that outstretched neck, trying to find everything, just barely blocking your snout from going around the side of its neck.
I am going to step back and try and draw him out a bit.
Okay. As with its shield kind of up, as you kind of wiggle your way backwards, it is going to try to take a stab at you underneath the shield with its spear.
It's gonna have disadvantage because of my protection fighting style.
Okay.
I'm use up my reaction there.
Okay. So it would have disadvantage. Her being squeezed would have normally given advantage against it, so the advantage
Cancels out.
And the advantage to cancel out, so it only has to make a regular attack. That's a direwolf deck. I'm not attacking with that. Significantly different. And so as it tries to push forward, you're from the other side, just kind of squeeze in the space a little bit with your shield, preventing it from actually being able to make any kind of good leverage thrust. And because of that, it can't actually, this direwolf's so tall that as it's coming underneath the shield, manages to go right between the front paws and not actually strike anything as it's wiggling backwards. It's TX's turn.
Alright. For sure this time, I swear I'm gonna aim properly.
Gonna walk up and put your crossbow on Laurel's shoulder or something. Steady.
You were not steady.
Yep. That see, you should have listened. Should have totally gone with the shoulder propping. Your hands are shaky, man. This is your first time out. This is real combat. The adrenaline.
The real zone.
So you can see this guard who's just barely deflected this the advance from the dire wolf, and is kind of getting squished around by the shield a little bit. Is still going to poke its head out and look around to try to see, you know, is someone out here? Is the boss out here? Something's weird. As it takes another step forward. But to whom does it attack? Let's go. It kind of steps out, look around, and just kind of offhandedly kind of tries to stab at the monk off to the right, missing wildly, as it's still looking around, very confused. Karth, you can hear the striking of rocks. It sounds like two rocks are being struck together from Guardsman 4. You instinctively think that's probably some kind of like flint and steel or something like that, but you can just hear it strike, 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 strike. As you see little sparks coming from the two objects that are being struck against one another. And you see sparks kind of going around what area might have been the other campfire, but at this juncture, it does not light. Nothing lights up. It's Warren's turn.
Yeah. Woo! Oh. At least I hit him. Not the second time. No.
Yeah, because you drawn your second short sword.
Yep.
Okay.
I did that when I moved back.
Right.
Damn, I forgot I had advantage on that guy.
Karth, you feel this. You feel like you're struck on the side of your right leg, just barely tapped by the edge of what is very likely the spear from the guardsman. He's got one foot on the left side, and then he's tapping the right side of your leg with the spear, just getting bearings on your exact location, making sure that you're not moving. Whoops. See this cultist now finally get a little bit of a break. Gonna squeeze in next to the spear arm of the guard and take a disadvantage strike against Morn. It tries to wildly slash at you from the side, as you could just see the scimitar that it's got in its hand is scraping along the side of the wall as it's coming out at you. It just loses all momentum as you just kind of look at it, and at the last second, just move like 3 or 4 inches to the side as it misses, having no momentum, and just as ineffective.
Oh,
Carthage, it is your turn.
Okay. I want to intimidate,
User
but I want to try to
disconnected
build
from
this
your
up
channel.
first. So I'm going to use my prestidigitation, Lord, and I want to make like some zombie sounds. I want the guard closest to me to hear some like just real rumbling, kind of growly things coming from the darkness.
Like directly behind it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I want to go to show that that's freaking me out, like he needs to get me out of here. And then I would actually like to cast my intimidation and say something, if this is like along the lines of death is in the darkness.
Okay, so you're gonna cast the prestidigitation, making the noise, and then what was the what was the other thing you were casting?
Intimidation.
Oh, you're just using the skill for intimidation, or
Yeah, I have the bonus or something for that.
okay. So first thing, the sound definitely happens. The shuffling sound in the back, kind of like a growly sound, and then you can hear you can hear both guards instinctively kind of shuffle and turn and just, you know, whether they're looking around investigating a little bit. You can hear their armor rustle quite a bit. So you're gonna. Okay, I'm gonna need. So for the intimidation part, let's do. So we're trying to pretend we got the gag on still. So let's do deception and then followed by intimidation. Okay, and then the intimidation. So from the corner, from the guards is working on trying to relight the fire, you hear, "What in the hell kind of thing you trying to pull?" As you see and feel Guardsman 2, who was, you know, had one leg actually touching the side of you, and the other had that spear next to you. Just see him whip around and wildly take off, actually just running to the east. Over into the darkness of the other side. But you can definitely hear that Guardsman 4 had didn't seem like he was buying it. And you can hear him turn. It sounds like he might be starting to approach from the north. You still have the ability to move if you would like. You are sitting down against, with your back against the wall still.
Okay, I don't know how to. Should I just click my guy and move? I'd like to try to move a little to the east, just so I won't be where the guard thinks I'm gonna be.
So if you kind of crawl over there, you can move at like half movement speed, something like that. So you could move up to 3 squares. If you stand up, it takes half of your movement to stand up, and then moving thereafter. So it just kind of depends on how you would like to go about it. Do you want to just crawl a little bit over, like north and east, or something like that? Or and yeah, you can just click on it and drag it.
I just stand up and move 1 block over to the east.
Yep, that'll work. Alright, so you're now actually standing upright, no longer gagged and unbound. As the other guardman ran off in fear.
Do I need to end my turn now?
Yeah, that's pretty much everything that you could probably do in 1 round. So.
Well, I know my combat tracker showed L'Oreal next. I didn't know if it automatically did that or not.
Yeah, once you tell it to go to the next thing, it also won't show you any hidden stuff that I might have on there that you can't see or whatever yet. If you just hit the next actor or whatever, it just automatically goes to the next person on the main list, which is mine, versus whatever it is that you can see. Alright, it is Laurel's
Am I
turn.
currently being threatened by guard 1?
Let's see, he is... I'm gonna say no. It's close enough, like with the squeezing of the cultists on the weapon arm. I'm gonna say no.
He's a good puppy. Attack.
I'm going to ready an action to defend against an attack.
Okay. Right, it is Fane's turn.
Am I still hidden behind the direwolf?
Yes, you are.
So if I move over 1 square to the left, will I be able to hit the guard or the cultist with my short bow? Or would I have to come around?
No, I think you actually could hit the... you could freely hit the guard. I think the cultist would have cover from his own ally, but unless... typically, the way it works is if you're trying to do a ranged weapon around your own people, unless there's some special circumstances where that might be, thematically impossible. It's anticipated that they kind of make way for you to be able to do that without really obscuring much. So, you should be able to fire along the side, down the edge of the wall, at Guardsman 1 unobstructed, but Cultist 2 is hiding behind his own teammate, and he would
Okay.
have some cover in that regard.
So I'm going to use my short bow and try and hit the guard one again. And then, as I noticed that it didn't hit him, I'm going to pat the wolf on its rump and encourage it to go get him. And give her advantage on the guard.
Okay. And then you could technically also bonus action to hide. You can still use your bonus action. No, sorry, use it to help. Sorry.
Yes, I did to help.
That's what you just did to help. Yep. Everyone, roll perception checks. That'd be everyone.
Wolf has advantage on perception checks involving hearing or smell.
Hearing. In this particular case, so okay, go ahead and do another one just in case you get higher, or you do. Okay.
Just in case.
It'd be much harder to hear out here, but you can, through the walls, south and east of you, you hear a rumbling that sounds a little bit like a collapse. And yeah, it's your turn. You're the only one out here that can hear that. And actually, Karth, would you roll 3? Nope, you are riddling yourself in the dark. I don't know what you're doing. You can't see. Your perception is obscured greatly as you're focusing on your immediate surroundings. The sounds from far away are just kind of ignored as you're trying to focus in on your immediate surroundings. Yeah, and so it is Direwolf's turn.
I lunge forward.
Okay.
What does the help thing do?
Yeah, it gives you advantage. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Although, also don't forget that wolves have pack tactics as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a lot of opportunities for advantage. Okay.
There's also... Does he count as a creature?
Yes.
Okay, so he has to make a DC 13 strength saving throw.
And be knocked prone. Yep. So
Yes.
You'll go ahead and do the damage first. Since you hit with the bite. And then if you hit, then they make then you'll drag the saving throw over them after that. But it's in this particular case irrelevant.
Doesn't matter.
And that's how you would do it.
That's the guard that's dead?
That is the guard that is dead.
Okay.
As you lunge from the side, as it's been kind of protecting in the most recent assault again from Morn, it has been kind of edging its guard more in that direction, so its shield is more off to its front. And seeing your opportunity, you leap in, and your teeth sink into the top of the shoulder, just next to the neck, right above the chainmail. And you just, as you shake your head, holding it, you kind of throw it to the ground. And as you do, you see this where it had torn across the neck and into its throat, and you just hear this little bit of gargling as it falls to the ground. bleeding out underneath it.
I snap at the cultists that are right there.
You can see that they had the cultist who was fanatically charged forward after Morn just looked to the left to see all this motion on its side here, and it kind of looks, and it's like you can just see it immediately jerk, like that 6 inches or so. What? Very, very scary.
Is that one cultist in my threatened range there?
It is not. No, it's around the corner. Yeah, it's enough around the corner that it couldn't swipe at you.
Okay, I'm gonna take a little step back then.
Okay.
And I think that's all the things I can do.
It's TX's turn.
Alright, since that dude died, I'm gonna move the Hex Curse over to, this cultist here.
Okay.
Ba-dum-ba-dum.
It's almost comical at this point. And you fire, barely missing Morn, as he has to kind of dodge out of the way. As it ricochets against the wall and falls harmlessly on the ground.
It might be more useful to fire it at Morn so he can pick it up and throw it at him.
Hey,
Jeez.
I could do that.
Alright, that's all.
So it seems like the way Hex works is that you cast it on somebody, and then like you can't hit them anymore after that.
Are we just clarifying?
Did I say Hex? I meant to say Uber Bless.
Put him in the dodge stance for your damn Hex. What the hell?
Like the other occultists that have had the opportunity to get clear way, there's some kind of ducks and weaves around its other fellow cultist members as it's holding its scimitar overhead, screaming for the Dragon Queen as it jumps out of the tunnel and slashes at the direwolf. No longer afraid. You hear Guardsman 4 rush forward, and you hear the clank of a metal object striking the wall right where you used to be sitting. Karth, that is. Cultist 1 is going to pick up the torch and throw it out into the room, out behind the adventurers. It's Morn's turn.
Yay.
Doing so casts that entire room that Karth is in completely in darkness.
Where'd my leg go? God, I can't attack that guy. Jeez.
just say very unexpected combat thus far.
Yep. Luckily, I get to try again.
Very, very unexpected combat.
All right, take this hex thing off.
Unhex, unhex.
That's the worst ability ever.
Yeah, that's what's doing it, all right.
I rolled 2 freaking 3s.
Which is more than I rolled in the past 2 rolls.
Almost all of your rolls.
Yeah, pretty much.
In an attempt to retaliate, cultist is going to, after just very deftly dodge the short swords from Horn, and strike out at him with his scimitar. It is Karth's turn.
Okay.
So you heard that other guard rush forward and strike the wall beside you, and you know that he's still there as he kind of turns. As he's, you just get the sense as you hear like where the stab was, and then you hear like the a gauntlet strike, striking against the wall and rubbing across it as it's perhaps trying to find its bearings, trying to find where you went.
Okay. So, I'm pretty close to this guy. Like, with Scorching Ray, is there any, like, splash damage I would need to worry about hitting myself?
No, but that is a ranged attack, and so if you had ranged attack in melee, typically that would have disadvantage, but because he doesn't know where you are, even though you're right next to each other, you're kind of hidden from one another, that the disadvantage... Okay, so how's that going to work?
I think it's only disadvantage if you're in melee combat.
Right, which he technically is.
Yeah.
But then also he can't see his opponent. He knows what square he's in. Yeah, I think it's still going to be, even though I think it's still going to be disadvantage to attack him, just due to the total. Let's see, disadvantages. No matter how many disadvantages there are, so if there's any advantage, it would cancel it out. Does he actually have advantage on you, though? That's the thing. Or do you have any advantage to attack him? Technically you have advantage because you're hidden. So yeah, it'd be a regular, like out of all the craziness of the situation, it would just be a regular attack roll. Because you're both hidden from each other, but yet, yeah, you know where he's at. So since you do know where he's at, and you're hidden, that gives you advantage, and those advantage and the disadvantages all cancel each other out, just making it a regular old thing. There'd be no splash damage or anything like that. It'd be definitely targeted.
I would like to empower my Scorching Ray.
Okay, and so the empower makes it so that you can reroll low numbers. Is that right?
Reroll a number based on my charisma modifier.
Yeah, so you can roll the damage first and see if that's a good roll or not, and if it isn't a good roll, then you can spend the point. So you can actually wait to choose after you see what it is first. So roll
click-
the attack onto guard 4.
Oh, I just rolled it.
Yeah, so you would actually either roll it onto specifically. Onto guard 4 like that. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and, for cheatery reasons, we'll go ahead and let that one be the one that counts. And go ahead and roll the damage associated with that. And then if we don't like that damage roll, we can choose any of the however many one you want to re-roll after that. And then I'll manually fix it.
So do the damage the same way I did the attack?
Yep.
Just-
And then you can choose to take the 7 points, or you can choose to re-roll any number of those. Since your charisma modifier is a +3, you can re-roll up any number of those if you would like. If you actually want to use the point, or you can save it if you'd like also.
So my damage was 2, 5, and 7, or just 2 and 5?
2 and 5 to make a total of 7. Yeah.
I guess I'll re-roll the 2.
Okay, so you'll spend another sorcery point, and then you just roll a d6, and then whatever that result is will be whatever that 2 becomes. Just pick that up off the
Is
dice.
that the 4th die?
What did the 5th?
Second from the last.
Yeah.
The square one. Cube.
And you can just pick it up and then just toss it out onto the, physically roll it over the chat bar, the chat box.
Nice.
Okay, because I was throwing that everywhere and it wasn't taking chat bar. Gotcha.
Yeah, in the chat box. And so that moves it up to 11. Find Guardsman 4, which is exactly their hit point. As Guardsman 4.
Surprise!
Well, if I knew I was going to one-shot him, I would have said something witty beforehand, like surprise, or let me
Pretty
light
sure Josh
that
covered it.
campfire for you.
Surprise! Yeah, so, like, it as you kind of posture your hands out in front of you and let forth these little searing bolts that come out of out from you. The first one kind of illuminates, and you can see it streak from you over to the guard as it illuminates, and then you can see as it kind of impacts and then slightly rolls around as it catches fire over him, and then the second one follows up. And it hits him, like the first one hits him and it lights up, and then you can kind of see you lock eyes as now he sees where you are as the fireball hits him and it starts engulfing him. As the second one then comes right out, hits him in the upper part of the chest, as it then starts engulfing over the top of his head in complete fire, as you see the hair on top of his head singe and just melt away as his skin blackens and chars. And with this wide eye, all you see is the wide eyes that have then become sealed shut from the intense heat as he falls collapsed in a charred mess on the ground in front of you.
That happened. I can still move, right?
Sure can.
I'd like to. How far? Because I'd like to make my way towards the little hallway there, opening.
6 squares. Yeah, you're regular human, right? Yeah, so you move 6 squares.
The diagonal, I don't know how that works. If that just
Everything,
counts one.
yeah, the diagonals count as 1 square in this edition. They try to make it as easy as possible. So, if you're in a square,
Okay.
you move in any of the 8 possible directions. It just counts as moving in 1 square.
Okay. I think
I
I'm
said
happy
8,
with this
I meant-
move.
It is actually 8. Oh, well. For some reason I was thinking 9, but no, it is actually 8. Okay, yep. So it's still pitch black dark back here, so yeah, you can just barely see shadowy figures in front of you from your current location. And you can kind of see the guardsmen up there kind of look in your direction, but it's pitch black in your area, so he can't see you at all. Right, it is Laurel's turn. Yeah, I'm actually, after Laurel's turn, we're going to take our intermission at the start of the next round. I actually expected us to finish this combat before.
Yeah, sorry about all that.
But it went, yeah, except we, poor rolls and some weird, the way the tactics kind of worked out. We didn't really get a lot of,
Bonus action. We're gonna shove the other cultist, which is cultist
2,
10.
10, 10, the one on top? Okay.
Yeah.
I roll good against ones that aren't hexed. I'm just saying.
This will be a 1 because it's hexed.
It physically can't match that roll, so even if I roll it, he could get a perfect 20.
Beefcake.
He could technically get a 20, so. And he did not. Not anywhere close, in fact. And so you're gonna. Are you pushing him backwards or down?
I'm gonna push him down.
Okay. Alright, and at the start of the next round here on Fane's turn, we'll just go ahead and take a 10-minute intermission or so, so we can hit the bios and grab the drinks and do all that kind of stuff.
Food.
Just watched a trailer for Independence Day, the new one, and wow, does that look bad?
They're making another one.
Oh man, here I am back. I was just looking because I really didn't feel that the Scorching Ray worked as planned, or worked as the way the mechanics were supposed to be. Because I totally missed something. And that was that Scorching Ray has 3 rays. Each that do 2d6 fire damage. So,
User entered your channel.
That guy got plastered on the wall.
So the reality of it is, you did not have to use your sorcerer point, because with minimum damage from the 2 additional rays, you would have done 4 more points of damage. So 2d6, 2d6, 2d6. So yeah, and then you can fire them at whoever you want in range, in line of sight at the time that you cast them. Of course, you have to. Each one has its own attack roll though. So let me see.
Just roll 2 more attack rolls, I guess. See if they would hit him.
Yeah, so the guard's going to die either way. It's just a matter of whether or not we get the extra sorcerer point or not. We can resolve that.
You need me to roll?
Yeah, well, if you're here, if you want to go ahead and do that, just roll an attack roll on the guard. Roll 2 of them from that Scorching Ray.
I don't have a guard to click on.
Just do the one north of you. It doesn't matter as long as it's a guard.
Doing the damage roll?
No. Just the actual attack roll, because there's an attack roll for each ray. So do the next one and do one more to see if it hits. Okay, and roll another damage roll, and if it's but don't roll it onto the guard. Just roll it off to the side so that it gets the numbers in the chat. And if it's 4 or more, then I'll give you back a sorcerer point. So yeah, just drag it into drag the damage into just the chat, and it'll put it there instead of it on a. Yeah, so you did more than 4 damage, so you would have killed him off of your rays without having to even empower one. So you'll get your sorcerer point. We'll get your sorcerer point back.
Woohoo!
Since we're on break, is there a limit to how many times I cast my spells in one setting?
That would be your actual slots. So on your character sheet on the top there.
Yeah, I see my spell slots, but none of my dots have filled up or anything, so I don't know.
Yeah, you'll have to just put a check mark in. I think it's a active thing that you have to just. So you just cast a 2nd level spell. So that would be one of those slots has been used. The cantrip, the prestidigitation, and both of those were cantrips, so you can do infinite number of those. But the higher level spells that actually have slots, you can use those those are per day, per long rest rather, per long rest. And we've used 1 sorcerer point. If you want to check the sorcerer point tick for the one that you've used, and so the second one I won't. Those will come back on a regular short rest. The spell slots only come back on the long rest. A short rest can be like half an hour or an hour, something like that. But a long rest has to be 8, has to be 8 uninterrupted hours of actual rest.
Yeah, I found out another thing I was doing wrong with the rolls. I was trying to put them in the chat, the box, the entry box. It doesn't like that. I just do it in the chat.
Oh yeah, yep. it's all a work in progress for all of us, actually. So. I mean, we made it through a whole campaign, and there's still things that we don't know how to do that we figure out as we go. Just make it work. It's just an architecture for structure that allows us to do things easier than to just literally have actual sheets of paper sitting on our desks and trying to connect them all through the computer, which would be really hard, on a map or something. The fact that it integrates the roles and helps us along really just makes that a lot easier.